solving problems today. If you were gone, you don't have to quickly write these. I'm going to refer back to this page so you'll be able to look at it through the lesson, okay? And then you'll get the hang of it. So the thing that's different about these problems and the problems we did earlier is that, okay, the problems we did earlier were 8 weeks equals blank days. Okay? And the problem you have on your paper right now, problem 1, says what?
14 days equals
14 days, and you don't have to write this, equals blank weeks. Or something like that, okay? So what's different about the two problems, Raymond? What's one thing that's different?
The answer and the product are a lot different.
Okay, so one answer is going to be a lot larger than the other one. Okay, one answer is going to be a lot smaller than the other one. What else is different? Kaden?
We went from weeks to days to weeks.
So we flip-flopped our labels, didn't we? And we're starting with the smaller unit of measurement. Now, let me ask you this. When I've got the centimeter and the meter, which one's smaller?
Centimeter.
Pay attention. Okay, so the centimeter's smaller. Is it going to have more or less than the meter? More. There's going to be a lot more centimeters than the meter, right? Because they're teeny tiny, we're going to add up 100 for every single meter that we have. Well, it's the same thing here. If I start with the smaller unit, that number is going to be higher. But really, my number is going to get smaller when I do the problem. Now, we're going to come back to this in just a minute, but let's take a look at problem number 1. So, blank 14 days equals blank weeks. Let's use the same strategy. I know that you already know the answer to this, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
What's the answer?
2.
Okay, so we're going to just deal with the strategy here. So everyone see this? Write down your 3 equal signs, please. And I'm always going to start with 1 unit. Now, all that means is I take this label and I put a 1 in front of it. So 1 day. And 1 day equals how many weeks?
1/7 of a week.
Okay, and where'd you get that information?
From there.
Right here on your resource page. We did it already, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 1 day equals 1/7 of a week. And we're just going to write it like that. Okay, now you solve the problem the same old way. You take whatever number's here times whatever you wrote. So 14 times 1/7. Now, this is kind of confusing because I already know that to figure this out, I'm going to have to divide. Did everybody else already know that you had to divide? You had to divide 14 by 7, didn't you? Okay, so why in the world am I multiplying? Is this still going to end up being the same answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Because it's a 7th of a week, not a full number.
It's not a full number. You got the key right there. It's a number less than 1. So remember what I've said. If I multiply times a number less than 1, it's really like I'm dividing. Okay? So, I'm going to write 14/7. Now, how do I know that I don't change the 7? Anybody remember this? I think I showed you on Friday, but I'm not sure.
The denominator of the fraction
Does not change. The denominator does not change, and I want to show you why. I'm going to go back a few pages, okay, to this one. And this page right here, look at this problem. 14 times 1/7 equals 14/7. Okay, 14 times 1/7 equals 14/7. What did not change? The 7th. The denominator does not change, okay?
You're literally doing the same problem as on the first page.
Exactly. Okay, so now my answer to this is what? Anja, what's my answer to this?
2.
Okay, how'd we get 2 out of that? How'd we get 2 out of 14 sevenths?
7 times 2 is 14.
Yep. True, 7 times 2 is 14.
Because there's 2, like, you can add up 7 twice and 14.
Okay, so 7 sevenths plus 7 sevenths, aren't each of those a whole?
Yeah.
That equals 14 sevenths. That's one way. Anybody know the other way?
14
This is going to go back to addition, but 1 plus 1 is 2.
Well, sort of. That means 2 wholes. You're right. But what's another way to figure out that this is 2?
14 can go into
Look at
7
the
2 times.
You're close. 7 goes into 14 2 times. That's actually division. So look at this. Remember, 14 divided by 7. Can this be a division problem?
Yeah.
It is a division problem. In fact, if you're going to type it on a keyboard, it's going to look like that. 14 divided by 7, isn't it? Unless you know some special character to get a division sign on there. Okay, so let's look at the next one. This one says 24 feet equals blank yards. Which one's larger here, feet or yards?
Yards.
Okay, so I'm starting with the smallest unit of measurement. That means I'm going to divide. Okay, so 1 unit, what is it? One what?
Foot.
1 foot. And it's the same label, you just bring it down. Okay? Now, look at your resource page. I'm going to turn it back for the kids that weren't here. I think if I look right here, I can figure it out. 1 foot equals how much of a yard?
A third of a yard.
1/3 of a yard. So I'm going to write 1/3 yards here, or yard. And we don't write of a in between, we just say it. Okay, now, what's my problem going to be, Miguel? What's my multiplication problem?
24 times 1/3.
Awesome. And do I need any labels on that problem? No, I don't. Okay, so now I'm going to solve it. So Carlos, what's the fraction answer to this? What do you think? He wasn't here, so he hasn't had a chance to practice as much as us. Do you remember what I showed you here? What do you think?
1/4.
You got it. 24 thirds. The denominator does not change. So it's really just doing 24 times 1. Okay? And I'm going to pull a stick. 24 thirds is equal to what whole number? Preston. 24 divided by 3. 3 times something equals 24. 8. Okay, good. All right, let's go down to the next one. All right, quarts to gallons. Which one's larger?
Gallons.
Gallons. So that means if I start with the smallest unit of measurement, am I going to multiply or divide? Divide. But how do I divide when I'm multiplying? I have to multiply times what?
A fraction.
A fraction, or a fraction of a number less than 1. Okay, so 1 unit, what is it? 1 quart. Okay, go back to your resource page. I think it's right there. 1 quart equals what?
1 gallon.
1/4 of a gallon.
Gauge has 4 quarters.
Yes, we'll talk about that later. So I've got 1/4 of a gallon. All right. What do I multiply here, Dade?
Multiply the 1/4 into the 1.
24 quarts times. He called that 1/4. Can it be called 1/4?
Yeah, it can.
It sure can. Okay. So you can do this 2 ways. You can do 1/4 of 24, or you can do 24 divided by 4. Remember that multiplication sign can really be the word of. Raymond, what's the answer?
It's 6 gallons.
It's 6 gallons. Very good. Okay, let's move on. So we've got the metric system now.
Okay. You're not so easy.
Okay. So get your 3 equal signs on there. I'm tempting fate. All right. So right now, the metric system is a little different. Previously, when we did this, did we get to use a trick when working with the metric system?
Mm-mm.
Yes, we did. Who knows what the trick is called?
The zero.
The zero trick is one of them. What's another one? The decimal trick, okay? Where you hop the decimal, correct? Okay, so there's no standard algorithm involved in the metric system. Isn't that nice? We're going to be hopping the decimal. Now, here's what I want to ask you. Which way do I hop the decimal when I divide? Left. So if we have to divide today, which it looks like centimeters is smaller than meters, we're going to have to hop it to the left. Okay, so 1 unit would be what? 1 centimeter. Look at your resource page. How much of a meter is 1 centimeter?
100.
Let me look. 1/100th. And I want to use the decimal version of 1/100th. Okay? So going back 2 pages. I'm going to write 1/100th as a decimal because it's easier to hop the decimal with a decimal. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, what's my multiplication problem here?
195.
1/100th. Good. Now I'm gonna do something here for you. Gave you a little hint. I underlined the 2 digits that are behind the decimal. So if I'm gonna hop this, okay, I'm gonna rewrite the number. Where does a decimal go in 195? At the end, all the way at the right. And I'm gonna hop it how many times? Twice. I went left because I'm dividing. What can I erase? Decimal, the first decimal and the hop. Correct? So I have 1 and 95/100ths meters. Okay. Let's look at the next one. It's not, no, I think it is on your resource page. Is it there? Kilograms and grams? Okay, so which is larger, grams or kilograms? Kilograms. How many times larger is it?
1,000.
1,000 times larger. So 1 gram, how do I write 1,000 as a decimal? Good. All right. So now that I've got that done, what does my multiplication sentence need to be, Gage?
1 times 1,000.
Okay, so 4,500 times 1,000th. Now, do you notice I left my comma out of the number? Dave, are you with me? Do you notice I left my comma out of 4,500? Why do you think I did that?
Because we're going to be the decimal.
We're going to be hopping the decimal. I don't want the comma and the decimal to get confused. So here's a little review. How many times do I hop it? 3 times. Which way? Left. If I erase my old decimal in the hops, what else do I need to erase? The 2 zeros. So what's my answer here? 4.5 kilograms. Okay, now the next one's not on the resource page, so there's no reason to look back at it. But we can figure this out. Okay, stop for a minute. I want my 3 equal signs, and I've got to check. Which one is larger?
Liters.
So I'm starting with the smallest unit. If I start with the smallest unit, I have to divide. How am I going to show division when I'm multiplying?
By using like number.
Multiplying by a fraction of a number less than 1. Okay? So this is 1 milliliter. You're not going to forget that, are you? Okay. And how many milliliters are in a liter?
1,000.
1,000. But I've got to use the number less than 1. Good. Remember, liter is a capital L. Okay? Now, what do I multiply by? I'm going to pull a stick. Crystal, what do I multiply together?
0.001 times 578.
Very good. Very good. 578 times 1,000. Okay. Enjo, how am I going to solve this? What am I going to do? Which way? To the left. How many places? Okay. Then I'm going to erase my old decimal. And what else do I need to add to the number? A 0 in front. And the label is liters. Okay, let's do 2 more. So the first one I'm going to do, kind of tricky here. I think we better write a P and give it a couple cats. Go ahead. This isn't on our resource page. This is asking how many cups are in, or 16 cups is how many pints. So what goes here, boys and girls?
1 cup.
1 cup, and you can write 1C. Okay? 1 cup equals how many pints?
2. I mean 1.
Half a cup.
1 cup does not equal 1 pint.
Half a pint.
Half a pint. You guys agree?
Yeah.
Because half of this would be 1C. Okay. We've got to write pint out. Now, what does my multiplication problem need to be, Liliana?
16 times 1 half.
Good. What word did I tell you you could substitute for multiply of? Let's read it, but we're going to read it backwards. Everybody read it with me. Half of 16. What is it?
8
What's my label?
pints.
Very good. Okay, 1 more. This is grams to kilograms again. I think we've already done that. Okay. And don't worry, when you're finished with this, you're going to work on a paper with a partner. So you're not going to have a lot of free time in class today. Okay, so Preston, what do I write right here? 1 gram. And I'm going to pull a stick. Zane, 1 gram equals how many kilograms? 1,000th of a kilogram. How did you know it was a number less than 1? How did you know it was a decimal? Because grams are less than kilograms. Okay? So, Destiny, what's my problem? What's my multiplication problem need to be? 1 million. Good. Now, when you write that number, I would leave your commas out, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
So 1,675,000, what do I say now? 1,280. Remember the tricks with the commas? 1,675,000. Okay. So when I hop this decimal, how many times? Moises, what will my answer be?
1,675 and 2,800.
Very good. 1,675 and 2,800. Okay, very good job today.
No,